Today we're reading 1 Corinthians chapters 10 through 13. We actually begin in chapter 10 with a study, Paul's comments with regard to meat offered to idols that he began back in chapter 8, took a little bit of an intermission from that subject in chapter 9, but then he's back to it here in chapter 10, a warning to these Corinthians. In chapter 11, we have an interesting thing, some interesting verses about, about hair and head coverings. I think you'll find that interesting if you ever wondered. It's all right there in 1 Corinthians chapter 11. And then Paul talks about the Corinthian abuse of the Lord's Supper, of communion. Ooh, some sobering statements there with regard to what happens when you disregard the leadership of the Holy Spirit, when you defy God, what happens? And we see it there. 1 Corinthians chapter 12 deals with spiritual gifts, and Paul goes into great detail here in this chapter about the practice of the spiritual gifts going on there at the church of Corinth. And then chapter 13 is completely related to 1 Corinthians chapter 12. I know 13 is a chapter that's commonly used in weddings, but when you look and see how it ties in with chapter 12 and chapter 14, you realize that it provides a bridge with regard to the spiritual gifts. That's what's in 13. A lot of interesting stuff in today's reading. I hope you get something out of it because there's a lot there to get, and we'll see you tomorrow.